Hey everybody, welcome to another Craftersations. If you don't have your craft, go grab it. Just hit pause or step away for a little bit, go get what you need. And maybe a favorite beverage. I've got some tea I'm working on right now. Yeah, let me show you what I've got going on. So this is my current work in progress. It's actually a commission from my grandfather. Not for him. He's ordering it for someone else. And it's going to end up looking like that. So that's what I've got going on. Get myself back here. All right. I hope, sorry, my dog and my cat are playing right now, or I think they're playing. I'm going to tell myself that. So, anyway, I hope life has been treating you well since the last time we were here. And, yeah, let's do a little crafting, huh? So I had kind of an interesting interaction when I went dancing a couple nights ago. There's a gal that dances there, and I wouldn't say we're not friends. Not that we're we're not enemies, but we're acquaintances. We're dance acquaintances. We see each other there. We recognize each other. I don't even know her name, actually. I should probably ask her name next time I see her. But we're definitely friendly. Okay. And she's beautiful. She's looking at her is like looking at an exotic piece of art. And she has this very like sensual honey-like way of moving. It's just she's very pleasing to watch. And this last Tuesday when I was out dancing, she came up to where I was sitting, and she might have had a drink or two. I'm not holding that against her, but I think it greased the wheels for our interaction this particular time around. But anyway, so she came up to me. She kind of leaned on the edge of the bar where I was sitting at, or the railing where I was sitting at, and she said, "You are just so beautiful." And I was kind of taken aback. And I said, "Thank you, of course, but to be honest, that's not how I see myself. I really don't see myself as pretty much less beautiful. It's just not one of the attributes that I've ever, accredited myself with. Creative, intelligent, self-sufficient, independent, all these things. Physical beauty is not something that I've seen in myself. In fact, there was, when I was growing up, X-Files was huge. So if you're familiar with Gillian Anderson, that's kind of where I saw her as getting her start. And she's done other things now, of course, that she's probably famous for. But I remember we had like the box sets of the X-Files, and so they always did like the director's cuts and commentary and such. And one of the things that I remember somebody saying about her, and I maybe she said it about herself, but the comment was something along the lines of she had a face made for shadows, or it implied that dark scenes and takes were kind of her friend. And the context of the conversation was that she had very unconventional features, not features that were kind of mainstream beautiful. And not that the shadows were meant to hide her. But anyway, it wasn't not complimentary. But that resonated with me. I'm like, okay, so, it's not, beauty isn't necessarily something that I have to work towards. Anyway, so I don't see myself as fitting, sorry, cat hair, the description of beautiful. So when my dance acquaintance came up to me and complimented me, I said thank you. I didn't necessarily believe it, but she didn't stop there. She kind of touched my cheekbone right here, and she said, "Your features are just stunning. And you're not even wearing makeup, are you?" And no, I hardly ever wear makeup. I don't even know what to do with it. So I told her the truth. I said, "No, I don't really wear makeup." She just kind of, did the little head shake like she just couldn't believe it, and she said, "Well, you are just so beautiful." And that was kind of the interaction. She walked away. And at the time, that was it. I enjoyed the rest of my night, danced, went home, no big deal. And it wasn't until the next day or two that I started, it kind of made me think, because, I don't see myself as beautiful. It's not something that I worry about. Like, it doesn't bother me. But it's just not how I see myself. But through someone else's eyes, through her eyes, at least on that night, not only did she see something in me that I don't recognize, but she took the time to share it with me, to express appreciation, to share with me how I was through her eyes. And I guess I kind of started wondering, how many times do we think complimentary things about other people? Maybe it's about physical beauty. Maybe it's about their personality, their character, their confidence, some other strength that we see in them that we perceive as noteworthy. But if you asked them, they wouldn't see it in themselves. In fact, it might be something that they actually felt lacking in or self-conscious about. And in your mind, you see it, you recognize it, and you assume maybe that they must know. How could they go through life and not know? Surely other people have told them, or they just must be aware that they are beautiful or strong or creative or whatever the character trait may be. And so you don't say anything because the assumption is, well, it's so evident to me. Surely they see it in themselves. And I realized that is probably often not the case. My dance acquaintance viewed me in a completely different way from how I would ever view myself. And she could have just gone about her night going, "Oh, I'm sure she's been told that before," or "She seems pretty confident in herself. She probably knows that this is how people see her, or some people may see her," and gone about her night. And I would never have known that she perceived me this way, and therefore that maybe there was something about myself that I was blind to, that I had dismissed as irrelevant or simply not true. And it allowed me to see myself in maybe a more positive light. And so by maybe not keeping those complimentary thoughts to ourselves about other people? Could we maybe helping other people see themselves in complimentary ways that they might otherwise be blind to? Or that might actually be contradictory to how they see themselves. Because, you know, we're such good judges of our own characters and characteristics, right? It kind of made me rethink how my perceptions of other people may not reflect how those people actually view and feel about themselves. And that if you see something praiseworthy or beautiful in someone else, you should probably say something. That might be like the one thing that person needed to hear that day. That might be a perspective about themselves that they've either never had or didn't realize they could have. Like, what an amazing impact you could have on someone. No, it was just one of those simple little interactions. But it kind of made me rethink how we interact with each other. Yeah. Can you think of anybody that maybe you should have paid a compliment to? Or that you should have, I don't know, brought to their attention something amazing about them? And then didn't for some reason? Maybe you assumed it was obvious, assumed they knew. We're going to keep this a little bit shorter of a craftersation. So before I sign off and say goodbye, I'm going to challenge you to maybe spread some positivity. Not toxic positivity, but those little compliments. Tell somebody something positive that maybe they need to hear that day. Something small. Something that maybe you'd like someone to say to you that day. All right. Until next time. Cheers and happy crafting.